Ladies and gentlemen, game number 1 between Machine and WhiteRa. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Bill Sherwinter. And remember, as they're both reminding us, best of 7 KKGLGL. This is for $500. The winner will take away $400. The loser will walk away with a respectable $100. And it's pretty cool to be able to win $100 by playing 7 games of a
Max
game.
7 games.
Maximum of 7 games. You know, it's pretty awesome.
It's pretty good ROI on your hourly.
I mean, you know, you would be playing anyways. Might as well get
paid.
At least $100 for it.
Exactly. But not only that, it gives you that pressure moment where something's on the line. That makes it really cool. Now, WhiteRa is going to go ahead and put out a pylon in the front.
Yep.
Belshire Beach Winter is an interesting map. Definitely Forge Fast Expands are very hard to do. I've seen different variations. Of course, there's the Titan Fast Expand where you go for the gateway and you do pressure that way. We're going to see probably going to be a Forge Fast Expansion, though. That's actually, this probe comes out of probe, or it's coming out
gateway.
Okay, it's a gateway. So a little bit interesting. That's why I was thinking normally a Forge Fast Expansion would have been 1 probe later, and there would have been a scout, but we saw neither of those. So it is a gateway going down. Yeah.
So that indicates that he is going to get a couple zealots, and then go for a little bit of a pressure whilst taking his expansion.
Yep.
We actually saw Kiwikaki doing this.
It's a gas, though.
Yeah.
It's a gas.
So this is kind of interesting.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah, it is different.
I know WhiteRa has talked about this build, and I've actually seen it firsthand when he was over at my house with Sen. He was practicing this particular build. He has 2 variations, actually. One where he goes to Cybernetics Core, one where he doesn't. It just depends on how comfortable he feels, I think, and what his opponent does. But overall, I think, you know, it just goes into a pretty macro-style game. There you go, Cybernetics Core.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's not something you normally see. And again, this, you know, goes to show what kind of an interesting style WhiteRa has, that he doesn't do the things that everyone else does. And I love that about his play, because not only is he, you know, one of the mannerest of bears, but, you know, his games are always unique to watch, just like TLO's.
Oh yeah, baby.
So even when he's struggling, you still want him to win every single game.
Oh yeah. No, you have to agree with that. The Cyber Core is finished. When is he actually going to put up his gateway? That's the question. Now, this is a variation of a 1-gate fast expansion. That's why before the Cybernetics Core, he wouldn't really mine completely off of this one assimilator if you want to do that.
Right.
Of course, he's doing it afterwards. So this will be just like a different variation, using his initial 3 buildings as some SimCity to block off. You know, we've seen this time and time again with 1-gate fast expansion. It does delay your Nexus quite a bit, so he will have to follow up with some sort of gateway pressure directly after he puts up some gateways. But still, there's going to be a lot of time for this Zerg player, Machine, to actually drone up. And that's going to give him a nice little advantage in this early game stage. Although, of course, the harvester count is going towards WhiteRa.
Yeah, but that's not going to be. It's not going to be the case for long. Once the hatchery comes up from Machine, WhiteRa misplacing buildings a little bit, getting that second gateway up. Now, I don't know if I really agree with or like getting that Nexus up a little bit later. You know, his economy is going to be slowed down a bit. But that being said, I wish, for example, he was pressuring with these 2 units as opposed to just.
No, he can't do that. He can't do that because Machine went for a gas with the spawning pole. Normally we don't see that, but what the metabolic boost basically does is says if you do any pressure, you better make it commit, because if it doesn't commit and I mass up units, you're dead. All your units are dead. So I think pushing out with those 2 units is actually incorrect, and it's right for him to be this defensive. The question is, how does he actually transition to force his opponent to stop making so many drones? And that's going to be a little bit difficult because, as I said, the metabolic boost really puts Protoss in the dark for quite a long time. They have to probably rely on something like what we see the robotics facility, or even like Stargate play or hallucinations.
Well then, that is all well and good. We do see that machine is getting a Roach Warren. His income is, it's only 36. Well, he's going to be getting that up pretty soon. He'll probably have a couple more rounds of drones. He is making a layer right now. He's opting not to take a quick third. And I think because he saw the gateway come out first and he saw the second gate as well, he might be thinking that WhiteRa is going to go for something that's very, very aggressive. So he's a little hesitant about taking that third, because if WhiteRa is going for a super aggressive attack, you know, investing so much in that third base will really limit his army count. So Machine's playing this a little bit safe as well.
Yeah, it could be some sick all-in. That's what he's worried about. But WhiteRa seems to be setting up for some sort of immortal push. He has this Force Immortal out.
Oh, he's
on
getting
the
a
field.
robotics. He's getting a robotics bay, and it's actually really fast.
Really? Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Where the heck is that?
It's way up. It's like hiding. Yeah, it's actually very fast. And this is actually a gamble by WhiteRa, because if Machine was going for a 2-base all-in, WhiteRa would be absolutely dead. Because, I mean, this is like literally two gate, getting a Colossus at an 8-minute mark. Very risky, but that being said, it would definitely, it's probably going to pay off, because Machine's not pressuring him. And that's going to allow him to get that high-tech unit count much higher at like an earlier period of time, and it's most likely going to throw Machine off.
Yeah.
And, you know, because just judging by how Machine is, when he sees things that he's not accustomed to, it really throws off his game. So this is like, you know, exactly kind of what WhiteRa needs to be doing.
Exactly.
Because he's going to throw Machine off.
Look what WhiteRa has done. I mean, right now, Machine, we are how long into this game? 9 minutes and 30 seconds,
yeah.
okay? So if you look on the vision of Machine, it looks so unattractive just by the Sim City, and based on the 2 gateways, the 2 early gateways, probably is something like 3 gateways he's thinking in his head, to actually go an all-in. Yep. It sucks. Normally 3-gate pressure actually gets a lot of map control, so actually pushing into this seems really unattractive. Through that, WhiteRa is actually able to get this robotics facility down, quote-unquote, safe, just because he looks so unattractive to actually push into. The range in which WhiteRa could be going could be like anywhere through gateway all-ins into Warp Prism, into, you know, obviously Stargate all-ins. Yep. It's huge. So that's why I think Machine has been so late in taking this third, and it looks like this push might actually punish Machine.
I mean, and if just because, I like the counterattack though.
Love this.
Yeah, I mean, this is what he needs. WhiteRa's going to have to he's going to have to come back and defend. But actually, I think WhiteRa's going to go kill this third first. And I don't know, I mean, Machine's going to be able to get a pretty good amount of damage done here.
This is correct. He shouldn't actually commit to this third fully. He wants to actually go in for the natural, wants to do that critical blow. Machine is actually able to take out the robotics facility, and that's going to cripple WhiteRa at this point. WhiteRa doesn't really have any additional support over here at the main. He's warping in units into the natural. This will be a base trade. We'll see how successful it is. There are a lot of roaches.
Yeah, Machine's going to most likely, I mean, he can't really retreat at this point. He's kind of committed to this. He has to hope that he can defend right now. And WhiteRa is doing a great job. His unit composition is very, very strong right now. And again, this is indicative of the fact that he just got such a quick Colossus. You know, he shouldn't have 2 Colossi and an Immortal right now, but he does. And that was, you know, that gamble is paying off. But, you know, as you said, it is going to be a base trade situation.
Oh, man. And Machine actually isn't paying attention to his attack all the way at the main base of WhiteRa, and WhiteRa will clean this up. Wow, how unfortunate. And there's no way to actually deal with these 2 Colossi. The 2 Colossi are the ones that represent all the power, especially with that thermal lance. Roaches are trying to be made as we speak, but it's not going to come out in time. And there we have it. It looks like WhiteRa is going to draw first blood and take the first game.
Most likely. I mean, right now, all of Machine's like production buildings are done. He doesn't have a spawning pool. He doesn't have a Roach Warren.
He has a Spire.
He has a Spire, yep. He literally has 11 roaches, 10 roaches now, and 2 Zerglings, and that's
not going to be much else.
No.
As these last roaches go down, and we're going to see a GG coming out from Machine anytime now. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. WhiteRa takes the first game.
Again, it was a very interesting risk by WhiteRa, very calculated.
Yes.
You know, he gambled by getting such a fast robotics bay, but when he pushed out, he had a much stronger unit composition than he should have had. If he didn't have those 2 Colossi, even if he had like 1, like at a normal timing, he would have only had like 1 Colossus. He probably wouldn't have had thermal lance done, and Machine probably would have been able to eventually stop that attack. And then the counter, if he paid a little bit more attention to it, could have done much more damage, and the situation would have been totally different.
Yeah.
But
ladies and gentlemen, I do want to remind you that think how streamlined that was. The amount of gas that went into going to Colossus so fast. Think there were not a lot of sentries, which we normally see when you are doing a gateway expand.
It's only 3
there wasn't
or 4,
even a forge out. So no upgrades.
No forge.
So he gunned. He was brutally efficient for that Colossus tech. Yeah. And normally, you know, you will go all this defense against a potential all-in, but Machine didn't even go that route. Of course, we know he isn't a player like that. So WhiteRa doing some great abuse in the first game, and he's setting a really nice tempo. We'll see if Machine actually reacts. I think for him to stop Machine, for Machine to stop WhiteRa doing that type of build, he has to go and show he's capable of doing some sort of very high aggressive build.
He does. And we're going to see if he's going to do that in Game 2, so stick around. We'll be back in just a moment.